Have you ever shared something personal with someone and then wish you hadn't? It's not about being secretive. It's about being smart. Because as we get older, what we choose to share and who we share it with can have a big impact on our peace of mind, our safety, even our dignity. People often say, speak your mind, don't hold back. But in old age, that advice can backfire. There are things, important things, that are better kept to yourself. Not because you're hiding anything, but because your well-being comes first now. You've lived long enough to know that not everyone has your best interests at heart. Some folks will smile to your face and twist your words the minute you turn around. Others might mean well, but end up putting you in uncomfortable or even risky situations simply because they don't know how to handle what you've shared. So today, we're going to talk about the 9 things you should never share with anyone in old age. These aren't just suggestions. They're quiet boundaries that can protect your peace, your independence, and your legacy. Let's start with the first one, and this might surprise you. Never share your financial details with anyone who doesn't absolutely need to know. You'd be amazed how quickly someone's behavior can change once they know how much you have, or how little. Whether it's a distant relative suddenly asking for a small favor, or a neighbor recommending a too-good-be-true investment opportunity. Once your financial situation becomes common knowledge, you open the door to manipulation, pressure, and in some sad cases, even exploitation. That doesn't mean you need to be suspicious of everyone, but it does mean you need to be careful. Even adult children or close family members who love you can become overly involved in your decisions when they think your money is their business. You worked hard for every dollar. Your choices, your timeline, your life. Keep that power close. If you have a financial advisor or legal power of attorney you trust, fine. But beyond that, keep your numbers to yourself. And while we're talking about what not to share, here's another one that hits a little closer to heart. Don't share your regrets with people who won't understand them. You might feel like opening up about past mistakes, missed chances, or things you wish you'd done differently. That's natural, but be selective. Not everyone is equipped to hold that kind of vulnerability with care. Some will judge, others will dismiss you or say, well, at least you're still alive. And while they may mean well, those words don't ease the ache. They just make you feel unheard. Your life has been rich with lessons, and yes, regrets may be part of it. But your story doesn't need to be dissected by someone who hasn't walked in your shoes. If you feel like reflecting, try writing in a journal, or talking with someone wise and trusted, someone who listens without fixing. Your regrets aren't weaknesses, they're just chapters. They belong to you, and no one else needs to narrate them. Now here's one that catches many people off guard. Never share your future plans with people who have a habit of discouraging you. Maybe you've decided to move to a smaller place, take a road trip by yourself, or start a little side hustle selling your homemade jam. You're excited, a little nervous, but proud. Then you share your idea with someone and they shoot it down in seconds. That's risky. Are you sure you're up for it? You should just relax and enjoy your retirement. And just like that, your spark gets dimmed. Here's the thing. Not everyone will understand your vision, especially if it doesn't fit into their idea of what a person your age should be doing. But their doubts aren't about you. They're about their own fears. Don't hand your dreams to people who can't carry them gently. Share your plans only with people who fan the flames, not those who pour cold water on your excitement. You don't need permission to live your life. You've earned the right to explore, create, and grow on your own terms. And let's pause here for a second, because this is important. You've spent decades caring for others, building relationships, making sacrifices, and doing your best. That doesn't end now. But what does need to change is how you protect yourself. Being kind doesn't mean being naive. Being open-hearted doesn't mean being open book. There's wisdom in knowing what to share, when to share it, and most importantly, who to share it with. Now that we've touched on your finances, your feelings, and your future plans, let's move forward and take a deeper look into the next things you should absolutely keep to yourself as you age. We've all been there, excited to tell someone something close to our hearts, only to feel regret later. That little voice inside whispers, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And more often than not, it's right. Let's keep going, because there's another thing you should keep close as you age, and it's one people often overlook. Never share your medical issues with just anyone. It's tempting, especially when you're going through something frustrating, painful, or even scary. Talking about your aches and diagnoses feels like a natural part of conversation. But here's the danger. Once people label you as a sick one, they start treating you differently. Sometimes they mean well, they check in too often, they fuss, they give you advice you never asked for. Other times, it shifts how they see you entirely. You're no longer the wise, active, capable person you've always been. You become someone they worry about, or worse, someone they pity. Now, this doesn't mean you can't confide in your doctor, your spouse, or a friend you trust with your whole heart. But broadcasting your health struggles to everyone in your social circle, or worse, on social media, can do more harm than good. Your body is only one part of who you are. Don't let others define your whole identity by what's going wrong under the surface. Let them see your strength. Let them see your smile. And when the hard days come, choose your support system carefully. You deserve compassion, not commentary. Here's another one that might sting a little, because it often comes from a place of deep love and pride. Never share your inheritance plans with people who have a stake in the outcome. You may feel like telling your children what they'll receive. Maybe you want to avoid family fights down the road, or give them something to look forward to. But once you share those details, everything shifts. Expectations are set. Comparisons begin. Even the most loving families can fall into resentment, jealousy, or quiet pressure. Suddenly, your decisions aren't just yours. They become the subject of whispers, assumptions, even demands. You have the right to change your mind. You have the right to plan your legacy with freedom and peace, not guilt. And that's much harder to do once people know what's coming. Instead, make sure your plans are clearly documented. Talk to an attorney or estate planner if needed. And if you do choose to share anything, be prepared for reactions that may surprise you or disappoint you. You don't owe anyone a breakdown of your will. Not now, not ever. Your legacy isn't just money or property. It's the life you've lived, the values you've passed on, and the memories you've made. Those matter more than anything written on paper. And speaking of memories, this next one is a quiet trap many fall into. Don't share old wounds or family secrets with people who like to gossip. Maybe you've carried something heavy for decades, a painful moment with a sibling, a truth about a marriage or a parent that no one else knows. As time passes, the weight of it grows, and the urge to get off your chest feels stronger. But here's the thing, once that information is out, you lose control where it goes and how it's used. Some people thrive on drama. They listen not to support you, but to gather ammunition. They'll repeat what you said with a twist, a wink, a whisper, and suddenly, your private truth becomes public entertainment. You deserve better than that. Your past doesn't need to be unpacked by people who can't handle it with dignity. If there's something you need to process or let go of, do it in a safe space, with a therapist, a journal, or someone who has shown they respect your privacy. Just because something happened long ago doesn't mean it's free to be shared carelessly. Protect your story. You lived it. You survived it. You own it. Let's pause here for a breath. You've likely noticed a pattern here. The things you should never share, your finances, your regrets, your medical concerns, your plans, your secrets, they all have one thing in common. They carry weight, emotional weight, mental weight, and in the wrong hands, they can be twisted, judged, or used against you. You've earned the right to choose peace over performance, quiet over chaos, wisdom over overexposure. In your younger years, maybe you didn't always have that choice. You had to explain yourself, defend your decisions, prove your worth. Not anymore. Now, you get to protect your inner world. You get to decide who gets a key and who just stays at the door. And as we keep going, we'll explore more of these things, more boundaries worth building, more peace worth preserving, more lessons worth learning, no matter your age. By now, you might be thinking, have I already shared too much? And that's okay. Most of us have at some point. The beauty of aging is that we get better at recognizing who's earned a seat at our table and who hasn't. It's not about cutting people off. It's about drawing a gentle line between what's yours to hold and what's okay to give away. And that brings us to something incredibly delicate and often misunderstood. Never share your private disappointments in your children or grandchildren with others who might judge them. Or worse, use your words against you. Families are complicated, always have been. And when you're older, those complications can weigh heavy on your heart. Maybe your son doesn't call as often as you wish he would. Maybe your granddaughter made a life choice that doesn't sit right with you. It's tempting to open up about these hurts, to confide in someone, to say, I wish things were different. But here's the danger. Words don't disappear. What you say in a moment of frustration can echo far and wide, especially in families. And sometimes, the very people you confide in might repeat your words with a twist. Suddenly, your quiet sadness becomes a headline at the next family gathering. Trust gets broken, feelings get hurt, and you're left wishing you'd kept it to yourself. Your disappointments are valid, but they deserve a safe place to land, somewhere with compassion, not gossip. Talk to someone who can help you process without judgment, a trusted friend who's walked in your shoes, or even a professional who knows how to hold that space with care. Your love for your family doesn't vanish just because you feel let down. It's okay to hurt. Just be mindful of who hears that hurt. Now, let's talk about something you might not expect, because it doesn't feel like a thing at all. Never share every detail of your daily routine with people who don't need to know. You might think, why does that matter? I'm just chatting about what I had for breakfast or when I take my afternoon walk. But here's where caution comes in. Predictability makes you vulnerable. If someone with bad intentions knows you leave the house at the same time every day, or that you take a nap at a certain hour, or that no one else lives with you, they can use that information. It sounds like harmless small talk, but to the wrong ears, it's a blueprint. Even well-meaning people sometimes repeat details that you've casually shared. Oh, she's always out at 4 on Wednesdays. That kind of statement, passed along one too many times, can unintentionally compromise your safety. Instead, keep certain patterns private. Share selectively. There's no harm in being friendly, but there's wisdom in being discreet. And you can absolutely still be warm and sociable without giving away your entire daily calendar. Now, this next one might raise some eyebrows, but it's one of the most freeing truths in later life. You don't have to share your inner doubts about your own worth, especially with people who don't truly see you. Let's be honest, getting older isn't always easy. Some days you feel invisible. Some days you look in the mirror and wonder, do I still matter? That voice in your head gets louder, especially when the world starts treating you like you're past your prime. And on those days, it's tempting to say out loud to someone, I just feel useless, or I'm not who I used to be. But if the person listening isn't wise, kind, or grounded, they might brush you off, or try to fix you, or worse, agree with you. Your value doesn't vanish with time. You're not less than because you move slower or forget where you left your keys. You carry decades of experience, love, pain, growth, things no one else can replicate. That is worth something. That is everything. And those moments of doubt, they pass. They're not the whole story. So don't give someone else the power to define you during one of your low points. Speak kindly to yourself first. And when you do need to talk, choose someone who reminds you of your strength, not someone who just nods and changes the subject. You're still here for a reason. That's not a small thing. That's everything. Now, if you made it this far with me, then I hope you're starting to feel something shift inside. A quiet sense of confidence, a little more permission to hold your head up, protect your peace, and choose silence when silence is wise. Not every story needs to be told. Not every thought needs to be spoken. And not every feeling needs a witness. You've earned the right to decide what's sacred, what's personal, what's yours. You've likely heard the saying, with age comes wisdom. But what it doesn't mention is that with wisdom often comes silence. Not the lonely kind, not the withdrawn kind, but the kind that knows when to speak and when to hold back. The kind that listens more than it explains. That's the kind of silence we're honoring here. There's one more thing you should never feel pressure to share, and this one might feel surprising, but it's quietly powerful. Never share your full list of good deeds or past generosity with those who expect more from you. Maybe you helped a family member get through college. Maybe you gave someone a loan you never asked back for. Maybe you went out of your way to care for someone during a tough time in their life. And yet years pass and they forget, or worse, they act like you owe them more. It's natural to want recognition. It's human to crave appreciation. But some people keep taking, even after you've given so much. And if you start reminding them of everything you've done, it doesn't always land the way you hope. Sometimes they twist your words, call you bitter, say you're guilt-tripping them. And in that moment, you don't feel respected, you feel small. Here's the truth. Your kindness doesn't need to be broadcast. Your history of giving isn't a resume. What you did came from the heart. And whether they remember it or not, you know, and that's enough. The people who genuinely love you will never need a list of reasons. They'll see your value. They'll remember the little things, even when you don't say a word. Now, as we take a final breath together here, I want to say this clearly. This isn't about shutting people out. It's not about mistrusting everyone. It's about protecting your peace. At this stage in life, you deserve peace like never before. The kind of peace that doesn't come from having everything perfect, but from knowing you don't owe anyone an explanation for how you choose to live. You don't need to explain your finances. You don't need to justify your regrets. You don't need to report every doctor visit, defend your dreams, or put your pain on display to anyone who hasn't earned your trust. You don't need to rehearse your worth. You just need to live it. Because the truth is, you've already proven enough, loved enough, done enough, and now it's time to surround yourself with people who honor you, not question you, to build a quieter, richer kind of strength, one that doesn't require applause. So if you've ever wondered whether it's okay to keep some things private, let this be your permission. Privacy isn't a wall, it's a garden. And when you protect it, you give yourself space to grow on your own terms in your own time. You are not too old. You are not past your prime. You are just beginning a new chapter, one that belongs completely to you. And if you're watching this right now, I want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time to reflect, to listen, to grow. That says a lot about the kind of person you are. Now, if this video spoke to you, even just one part of it, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What boundaries have you learned to set as you've gotten older? What quiet wisdom would you pass on? And if you haven't yet, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps this video reach others who might need this reminder too. And hit subscribe if you like more honest, encouraging conversations like this one. Here's to living your best life at any age, and never forgetting that your voice, your story, and your peace, they matter, always.